Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to Ramadan Nights with A and K. So it's Ali and
Kauthar.
yeah, I mean, as you can see, we've changed the background. We're in the garden, and I know the program is called Ramadan Nights. It's obviously not night now, but there you go. We thought that we'll come out in the nice sunshine and have a nice chat. If you haven't seen these shows before, this is all about trying to talk about important spiritual topics, and myself and my wife Kotha, we're just gonna have a nice chat about it. And we're learning from this, aren't we? We tend to do these chats quite often about certain topics, and we thought this holy month of Ramadan we'll share these chats or discussions with you. And of course we'll love your feedback. If you have any comments or anything, or even you disagree with us, then please do tell us about them.
We thought today we'll talk about the topic of shukr, which is gratitude. Because it's quite a big topic in like the wider consciousness, same way as mindfulness or consciousness or presence of heart, which we talked about last time. You just have to Google gratitude and you see all sorts of videos on it, because people are realizing more and more that one of the antidotes of being in an anxious state or in a worried state or being down is to be thankful, and that's that you can't be both. You can't be thankful and fearful at the same time. And so and that's where lots of sort of gratitude practices have come in as a result. I think the difference obviously with us is that we're grateful towards something, which is obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Absolutely.
And the Quran is
the Quran
full of shukr, isn't it?
There's a verse in Surah Al-Insan, verse number 3. It says, Inna hadaynahu sabil, we have guided him towards the right path. This insan, the human being. Imma shakiran aw imma kafura. So you're either grateful or you are ungrateful for the ni'mah, for the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. And it's powerful, isn't it? So he classes the human being into two different classes. You're either one of those who are grateful, and not grateful isn't just about saying shukr, and we'll talk a bit about that a bit later. It's not just saying shukran lillah just by just a verbal, some hot air coming out of the mouth, but it's also about being in the state of shukr.
It's living a life of shukr. It's being in that state of mind, because a lot of people, you say to them, how are you, and they say
alhamdulillah,
and they say, oh, alhamdulillah, can't complain, but actually just through their tone they are complaining. And actually I think we human beings are a bit defaulted to complaining. Everyone's complaining. You're in a queue for a long time, and or you're something happens, and the first thing you want to do is complain. I want to get my rights, I want to get my justice, and things like that. But what that does is, I think that leaves us all in a sort of state of complaining as opposed to state of thankfulness. And so we have to sort of keep bringing it back. And I think our discussion today and tomorrow will be about, or the next 2 days will be really about trying to understand how to live a life of gratitude instead of just paying it lip service or doing it every now and again. Because you don't want to get to the point where you've lost something and then you're grateful for it. Like in this lockdown, a lot of people are suddenly really, really sort of missing very small things they took for granted. The ability to go and see your mum, the ability to go,
we appreciate it more,
and meet friends or something like that. We've lost it, and now we're grateful for it. But you don't want to go to that state. I've had stories of people passing away or very big traumatic things happening, and actually people saying, I really miss the small things. But if we open our eyes to the small things now and are grateful for them as we live them, then we won't live in a state of regret later.
And when you go and now search about gratitude in general, you'll find so many different articles and people talking about how important gratitude is, and that's from a Western world. This is not from a, this is like from a non-Muslim world. But if you go back to the Muslim world, the Quran mainly, honestly, you'll find so many, and Quran is enriched with verses about the shukr. So another one is فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. Be God conscious so that you can become one of those who are grateful. It's some people interpret it, shukr, as a higher degree than a taqwa. It's like you've got to reach that God consciousness state so that you can become one of those who are grateful. Which for me, this particular verse in chapter 51, verse 56 says, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. It gives it so much importance, isn't it? The concept of gratitude gives it so much importance. And for me, it shows me that God consciousness is the way to if you want to reach that level of being really grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything. The prerequisite is you've got to be conscious. You've got to be conscious of Allah's presence, of Allah's ni'mah, of Allah's blessings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So and it follows from the state of presence of heart that we talked about. When you are aware, you open your eyes and you stop. If you stop your life and open your eyes to what you actually do have, then it can revolutionize the way you live. I think the thing that strikes me when we talk about lockdown is that now we talk. We keep saying, "Oh, I'm so grateful for this. I'll be so much more grateful for that." Actually, when I was ill with sort of
Corona.
We think with COVID.
If it wasn't COVID, what was it?
It was probably
COVID. Yeah.
So at the time, there was a period of time in the illness where I found it difficult to breathe. So taking a deep breath in was difficult, and I couldn't remember how it was like to normally breathe. Breathing is something we take so much for granted. We do it without any consciousness and awareness, and therefore it actually took that state of being to where I didn't have that ability before. It shook me to realize my gratitude for it. However, you get out of that state, you go back into normal life, and you tend to forget.
You forget.
And I've been thinking about why, and I think one of the reasons why is because we don't pause and think about our life enough. Like we said last time, it's too much of a rush. But I think also because we live in a life of so you're either going through a difficult time or you're having an okay time in your life. When you're going through a difficult time, you become almost tunnel visioned to that difficulty. So now people are obsessed with reading about coronavirus and this and that and this, and they almost become tunnel visioned in their, in it. If someone gets ill, for example, the first thought that comes to them is, is this really like this? I need to get the opinion of a doctor. I need a second opinion. If someone gets a diagnosis that's quite life changing. And I think, therefore, when we're in that state, we find it very hard to think of what we do have. We just think of that difficulty. Then when things ease, what we tend to then do is get back into our normal state of feeling where we haven't got enough, because we're fed this by our culture all the time. We're told you're not good enough, therefore you need to get this to become thinner, or get this to look nicer. You're never pretty. For women, you're never pretty enough.
Especially with all the social media that's going on,
social
and
media,
Instagram, and all that.
advertising, billboards, whatever it might be, we're bombarded with "you're not good enough." It's a state of scarcity, and when you're in that state of being, no matter what you have, even if you're the richest person in the world, you're a celebrity, you have it all. You never feel it's quite enough, and therefore you're never really in a state of gratitude. Because the opposite of scarcity is a feeling of enough. It's not abundance. So the feeling that you don't have enough, the opposite of that is to feel grateful.
Absolutely.
Content with what you have, that you have enough.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I talked a lot today.
No. It's all very beneficial, I think. We tend to end these particular shows with asking for something from you, and we are grateful for the blessings that we have.
We're grateful for the opportunity to sit here in front of you
exactly,
and ask
for this as well. But also, we're very grateful for all the blessings we have. Now you're sitting in self-isolation. Everyone's trying to get slots on Tesco and Asda, and they can't get. And people are thinking, oh my God, what if I can't get hold of so much food and things like that? What's going to happen to me? It's like a war, isn't it? And it
was like a war at the beginning. People fighting
over things, and so it just really makes you be grateful for what you have. And we got to think about those people who don't really have that luxury of going to the supermarket, and even it's now difficult, but even that, and they don't have the money to go and do these things. And it's the holy month of Ramadan. So what we're asking is part of, actually, when we're going to talk about the next in the next episode, is actually part of being the process of being grateful is giving, isn't it? And the people of Yemen are starving, are suffering, they're being oppressed, and all about that. The Noor Orphans Fund charity is trying to get some funds for raising money for iftar for the people of Yemen. So if you visit www.noororphansfund.org/Yemen, it will take you to the Just Giving page, where inshallah you can contribute and buy some iftar for the poor people of Yemen. So please go and donate as little or as much as you can, and see the clip after this inshallah, where it describes more about this campaign. Until next time, I think the next episode we're going to talk about practical ways to be grateful.
It's all good at theory, isn't it? But
it's all good at theory, but we're going to try to apply them ourselves. We're not here just to talk in front of a camera. We're here inshallah to actually practice what we say, and inshallah we'll share some of our thoughts with you in the next episode. Until then, wassalamu alaikum.
With 16 million people waking up hungry every day in Yemen and 2 million children needing urgent treatment for malnutrition, the ongoing war in Yemen has created the largest humanitarian disaster in the world today, and millions of people don't know where their next meal will come from. This Ramadan, Noor Orphans Fund will supply babies and children, pregnant women, orphans and the elderly in Yemen with a generous hamper which can feed a family of 5 to 6 people to last them the entire month. For only £35, each hamper will contain 10 kilograms of rice, 20 kilograms of flour, oil, dates, lentils, pasta, sugar, tea and more. We want to save lives in Yemen. Will you join us? Donate today at www.noororphansfund.org.